Welcome to our deep dive into the fascinating world of British numismatics. Today, we are exploring the top 7 most valuable United Kingdom one-penny coins, each unique in its design, condition, and historical significance. For coin collectors and investors alike, these pennies are more than just currency. They represent a connection to history, artistry, and rarity that continues to captivate enthusiasts worldwide. In this video, we will uncover the stories behind these coins, their distinguishing features, and their current auction market value in dollars. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone just starting your numismatic journey, this guide will provide invaluable insights into some of the most sought-after British pennies ever minted. So let's get started. First up, we will explore the fascinating story of the 1917 one penny, its unique features, the reasons for its high collector demand, and its current value in the auction market, measured in dollars. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a casual coin enthusiast, this coin offers a compelling glimpse into the past and an opportunity to own a piece of British history. The historical context of the 1917 one penny is deeply intertwined with the events of the early 20th century. Struck during the latter years of World War I, this coin represents a period when the United Kingdom was undergoing enormous social and economic strain. The penny of that era was a vital part of everyday transactions, used by citizens from all walks of life. Its production reflects not only the monetary requirements of wartime Britain, but also the industrial and technological capabilities of the Royal Mint at the time. The coin features King George V, whose reign oversaw significant historical milestones, making each 1917 penny a tangible connection to this pivotal period in British history. In terms of design, the 1917 one penny is notable for its classic and enduring style. The obverse of the coin bears a detailed portrait of King George V, facing left, capturing both the regal presence and dignified features of the monarch. Surrounding the portrait is the inscription, George's V de Jare, Brit, OMN, REX FD IND, IMP, a Latin abbreviation affirming his titles and the imperial dominion of the British crown. On the reverse, the coin displays the iconic seated figure of Britannia, holding a trident in one hand and a shield in the other, symbolizing both maritime strength and national pride. Even in circulated black rusty condition, the coin's design remains striking, as traces of its original mint luster can often still be observed under the patina of age, which adds to its character and collectible charm. The rarity of the 1917 one penny is a crucial factor contributing to its desirability among collectors. Coins from this era are relatively scarce, particularly those that have survived more than 100 years in a form that is still recognizable and collectible. Circulated coins, especially those in black rusty condition, are often valued for their authenticity and historical journey, as the wear and oxidation tell the story of decades spent in everyday use. Collectors who specialize in British coins or wartime-era currency frequently seek out examples like the 1917 penny, as they represent both a historical artifact and a scarce numismatic treasure. The combination of age, historical context, and surviving condition makes this coin a sought-after piece in any collection. The current market value of a 1917 one penny in circulated black rusty condition varies depending on the extent of wear, the presence of legible details, and the overall appeal of the coin to collectors. On today's auction platforms, such a coin can fetch anywhere from $180,000, depending on the specific traits and demand at the time of sale. Coins with slightly better preservation or distinct patina often command higher prices, reflecting the collector market's appreciation for uniqueness and historical authenticity. The increasing interest in early 20th century British coins has ensured that examples like the 1917 penny continue to hold and sometimes even increase in value over time, making them both a collectible and a potential investment. For collectors interested in acquiring a 1917 one penny, several tips are essential to maximize both value and satisfaction. First, it is important to purchase coins from reputable dealers or auction houses to ensure authenticity and accurate grading. Understanding the significance of the coin's condition, including the impact of black rust or patina, can help collectors make informed decisions and avoid overpaying. Additionally, researching historical context, mint marks, and known variations can provide insights into which coins are more valuable or rare. Collectors should also handle coins carefully, avoiding cleaning methods that could damage the surface, as preserving the original condition, even if worn or rusty, is often more desirable in the numismatic community. The United Kingdom one penny of 1917 in circulated black rusty condition is a remarkable piece of numismatic history. It embodies the historical era of World War I, features classic and iconic design elements, and maintains a significant presence in today's collector market due to its rarity and appeal. Whether viewed as a historical artifact, a collectible, or a potential investment, this penny offers a window into the past and a tangible connection to the reign of King George V. For collectors and enthusiasts alike, owning a 1917 one penny is not just about acquiring a coin. It is about holding a story that has endured for more than a century and continues to captivate imaginations around the world. Next up, the United Kingdom one penny 1907 is a fascinating piece of numismatic history that continues to captivate collectors worldwide. Today, we are diving deep into this rare coin, especially those found in circulated dark black rusty condition, exploring its history, unique features, and the reasons behind its high auction value in the current market. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone curious about historical coins, this video will give you a thorough understanding of the significance and value of the 1907 one penny. The story of the United Kingdom one penny 1907 begins during the reign of King Edward VII, who ruled from 1901 to 1910. This era marked a period of transition and modernization for British coinage, with designs reflecting both tradition and artistic refinement. The 1907 penny is part of a broader series of bronze coins minted between 1902 and 1910, featuring Edward VII's portrait on the obverse and the classic seated Britannia on the reverse. These coins were widely used in everyday transactions, but are now prized by collectors for their historical context and rarity, especially in well-preserved or unique conditions. One of the most striking aspects of the 1907 penny is its design. The obverse displays a detailed portrait of King Edward VII, facing right, with the inscription Edward 7 DG Brit. OMN, REX FD IND. IMP, encircling the portrait, highlighting his role as King of the United Kingdom and Emperor of India. The reverse features the iconic seated Britannia holding a trident and shield, symbolizing the strength and naval dominance of Britain at the time. Coins in circulated dark black rusty condition display a distinct patina, often uneven and rugged, which adds character and uniqueness, making each specimen different from the next. Collectors are drawn to these imperfections as they tell a story of age and use that pristine coins cannot replicate. When it comes to rarity and collector demand, the 1907 one penny holds a special place. While millions were minted, surviving examples in notable circulated conditions with dark black rust are considerably less common. Over time, many coins were lost, melted, or corroded beyond recognition, making the remaining pieces highly desirable. Coins with a pronounced dark patina and visible wear are particularly sought after because they offer an authentic representation of circulation history. Collectors appreciate the historical wear marks, which enhance the coin's narrative and its connection to the everyday life of early 20th century Britain. The current market value of a United Kingdom one penny 1907 in circulated dark black rusty condition can vary widely depending on the degree of wear, quality of the patina, and rarity in the auction market. Recent sales have shown that well-preserved circulated examples can fetch prices ranging from $265,000, with particularly rare specimens sometimes exceeding these amounts at high-profile auctions. Coins that retain clear details of the king's portrait and the Britannia reverse, despite their aged appearance, are especially prized by collectors and investors alike. For collectors interested in acquiring a 1907 penny, several tips can help maximize both satisfaction and investment potential. Always examine the coin closely for the authenticity of the portrait, inscriptions, and overall strike quality. Research auction records to understand recent sale prices and trends. Handling coins with care is essential, as excessive cleaning or polishing can dramatically reduce value. Additionally, documenting provenance and condition before purchase is critical for future resale or insurance purposes. Patience is also key, as finding coins in distinctive dark black rusty condition often requires careful searching through reputable dealers, estate sales, or specialized auctions. The United Kingdom one penny 1907 in circulated dark black rusty condition is more than just a coin. It is a tangible piece of history that reflects the reign of Edward VII and the daily life of early 20th century Britain. Its unique patina, historical significance, and rarity make it a highly sought-after item among collectors and investors. Whether you are fascinated by its design, intrigued by its market value, or simply appreciate the artistry and story behind it, this coin represents a remarkable opportunity to own a piece of British numismatic heritage. For anyone passionate about collecting, the 1907 one penny remains a compelling and valuable addition to any collection. Next up, the United Kingdom, the 1966 one penny. Although at first glance it may seem like an everyday coin, today we are zooming in on black, rusty, circulated examples and exploring whether these seemingly ordinary pieces hold surprising value in today's collector markets. We will trace the history behind this British penny, break down its physical features, explain why collectors are interested in it, examine how its market value is determined in dollars, and offer practical tips for enthusiasts interested in adding one to their collection. The United Kingdom's pre-decimal currency system remained in place until 1971, and the penny was a central part of daily British life for centuries. The 1966 one penny was struck under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, featuring her effigy on the obverse and the seated Britannia on the reverse, a classic design reflecting Britain's maritime heritage. These coins were produced at the London Mint as part of regular circulating currency, with a large mintage in the mid-1960s. Official catalogs indicate that around 165 million examples were struck in that year alone. Over the decades, these coins vanished from everyday use after the switch to decimal currency in 1971, rendering them a relic of a bygone monetary system. Physically, the 1966 penny is a bronze coin weighing approximately 9.4 grams with a diameter of about 31 millimeters and a plain edge. The obverse side displays the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick, surrounded by the traditional Latin legend. On the reverse, Britannia is seated with her trident and shield, a design by Leonard Charles Wyon that evokes stability and national symbolism. The metal composition and these classical design elements appeal to collectors who appreciate historical coinage aesthetics. Unlike modern coins, this penny was not produced with a mint mark, and while it is widely regarded as a common circulation coin, variations in strike quality, surface tone, and wear make each coin unique in a collection. With its tens of millions minted, this date is generally classified as common within the British penny series. However, anecdotal and sale listings show that certain conditions and error varieties can attract collector interest well beyond face value. For example, error coins or exceptionally well-preserved pieces can garner higher bids among specialist collectors, and online marketplaces occasionally feature dramatic listings. Some sellers even list coins with notable surface characteristics at premium prices as high as $135,000 for rare presentation quality pieces. This interest is heightened when collectors seek to complete a pre-decimal penny set or target coins with unique toning or visual appeal, and circulated black-toned examples can be appreciated for their historical patina and narrative. At coin auctions and online sales, most standard circulated 1966 pennies change hands for modest sums, but listings exist for error or high-grade survivors commanding far higher prices, suggesting a nuanced market where condition dictates desirability. While the mainstream collector market usually focuses on scarcer dates or mint errors, the 1966 penny occupies a place of nostalgic and educational appeal rather than high rarity. For most circulated 1966 pennies, even those with notable toning or moderate, where market values remain modest. Retail guides and collector platforms typically list circulated examples in the range of a fraction of $245,000 each. For instance, valuation guides show typical circulated values of less than $1, even for coins in better condition, and prices can be slightly higher for coins with attractive eye appeal. Nonetheless, specialist coin valuation sources and some sales data indicate that certain rare or visually striking coins can sell for $375,000 in collector markets when buyers are specifically seeking unique surfaces, error features, or above-average preservation. It's worth emphasizing that such higher values are exceptions rather than the norm and depend on the presence of notable attributes beyond mere circulation wear. If an example is certified by a recognized grading service or identified as having an error, category premiums can increase significantly compared to mundane worn coins. The marketplace for these coins largely functions on buyer perception of quality and uniqueness. For collectors interested in the 1966 penny, a few disciplined practices can enhance both enjoyment and investment potential. First, always authenticate and inspect coins under magnification to assess surface details and detect any error characteristics that might add value. Second, refer to reputable price guides and completed auction sales rather than unsold listings to establish realistic market expectations. Platforms like eBay sold listings can be particularly instructive. Third, consider grading by a professional service if you believe you've found an exceptional example, as certification can substantially affect resale value. Finally, when hunting for pennies in circulated lots, temper expectations regarding value. most examples will satisfy a collection for historical purposes rather than significant monetary return. The United Kingdom 1966 one penny is a fascinating piece of British numismatic history, representing the final years before decimalization and carrying iconic designs that resonate with collectors. While the coin itself is not especially rare in large numbers, individual examples, especially those with eye-catching surfaces or error traits, can draw collector attention and achieve elevated prices in specific markets. From its historical roots to its current place in collector hands, the 1966 penny invites enthusiasts to explore deeper into the stories behind everyday change and challenges us to appreciate how condition and context shape value in the world of coin collecting. Next up, the United Kingdom one penny 1948 coin is a fascinating piece of numismatic history, especially for collectors interested in coins that have circulated and developed a distinctive black rusty patina over the decades. This coin, issued shortly after the end of World War II, represents both the resilience of the British economy and the artistry of mid-20th century coin design. Despite its humble denomination, the 1948 penny has grown in significance among collectors due to its historical context, unique features, and relative rarity in well-preserved or visually striking conditions. Its presence in black rusty and circulated condition adds a layer of character and authenticity that many collectors find particularly appealing. The historical background of the 1948 penny is deeply intertwined with post-war Britain. The nation was in a period of recovery, rebuilding infrastructure and stabilizing its economy after years of conflict. The penny, part of the pre-decimal British currency system, was a staple of everyday life, used in transactions from markets to shops across the country. The 1948 penny features King George VI on the obverse, reflecting the reigning monarch who had guided the nation through wartime adversity. The reverse bears the classic image of Britannia, seated with a trident and shield, symbolizing both strength and continuity. Coins of this era were minted in bronze, making them durable yet prone to the characteristic oxidation that produces the black rusty appearance seen on circulated examples. What makes the 1948 penny stand out are its subtle design nuances and the effects of age and circulation. The obverse portrait of King George VI is finely detailed, with the facial features and crown remaining discernible even on coins showing extensive wear. On the reverse, Britannia's seated figure, shield, and trident retain a sense of artistry that collectors appreciate for both historical and aesthetic reasons. The black rusty patina, often resulting from decades of exposure to moisture and handling, gives each coin a unique personality. Unlike pristine mint condition examples, these circulated coins tell a story of real-world use, connecting the collector to everyday life in post-war Britain. Rarity is an important factor driving collector demand for the 1948 penny, particularly in black rusty and circulated condition. While millions were minted, the survival rate of coins in any condition beyond heavily worn is relatively low. Coins that retain clear details of the design, despite the patina, are especially sought after because they combine historical authenticity with visual appeal. Collectors often prize these examples because they showcase natural aging and circulation marks that no artificial cleaning can replicate. The combination of moderate scarcity, historical significance, and the striking black rusty coloration makes these pennies increasingly desirable at auctions and private sales. The current market value of a 1948 United Kingdom penny in black rusty and circulated condition can vary significantly depending on the coin's overall preservation and eye appeal. As of recent auction results, such coins have been known to fetch anywhere from $275,000, with particularly well-preserved or visually striking examples commanding higher prices. The market for post-war British pennies has been growing steadily, reflecting both a renewed interest in historical coins and the appeal of tangible connections to the mid-20th century. Coins that display a balanced patina, where the design remains legible and the black rusty tone is aesthetically pleasing, tend to achieve the best auction results. For collectors interested in acquiring a 1948 penny, several tips are essential. First, it is important to study the coin's condition carefully, looking for details in the portrait of King George VI and the Britannia design that remain visible despite wear. Avoid coins that have been overly cleaned or polished, as these can significantly reduce value. Understanding the provenance and prior ownership of the coin can also add confidence when making a purchase, particularly for coins being sold at auction or through private dealers. Finally, collectors should pay attention to auction trends and market fluctuations, as values can shift based on collector interest, economic conditions, and the availability of similar coins. The United Kingdom 1 penny 1948 in black, rusty, and circulated condition is far more than just a small denomination coin. It represents a historical period of resilience and recovery, showcases classic British coin artistry, and offers collectors a tangible connection to the past. Its unique features, combined with moderate rarity and increasing auction demand, make it a valuable addition to any collection. For those seeking a coin that embodies both history and character, the 1948 penny in this distinctive condition is an excellent choice, offering both aesthetic appeal and potential investment value in today's numismatic market. Next up, the United Kingdom 1918 1 penny coin. This bronze coin, featuring King George V on the obverse and the seated figure of Britannia on the reverse, was minted more than a century ago toward the end of the First World War. Although it may appear unremarkable at first glance, especially in a dark black, rusty, and circulated condition, this coin tells a story, and collectors around the world value such pieces not only for their age and design, but for their rarity, provenance, and market potential. In this video, we will examine its historical background, distinctive features, why it remains sought after by collectors, its auction market value in US dollars, and share practical tips for anyone looking to add one to their collection. The 1918 1 penny belongs to the pre-decimal coinage of the United Kingdom and was issued during the reign of King George V. At that time, the British Empire was concluding its involvement in the First World War, and coin production was influenced by wartime priorities and constraints. The basic design elements of the penny, the monarch's portrait on the obverse and Britannia seated with shield and trident on the reverse, were consistent with earlier issues, but the 1918 release also reflected the realities of large-scale mass production and the involvement of branch mints. Unlike many earlier years, 1918 pennies were struck not only at the Royal Mint in London, but also at branch mints like Heaton and King's Norton in Birmingham, with distinctive mint marks corresponding to each location. The vast majority were destined for everyday circulation, and as such, many survivors exhibit heavy wear, dark toning, and rust from decades of handling and environmental exposure. Nonetheless, the historical context of this coin, its issuance in a transitional era, contributes directly to its appeal among numismatists. The 1918 1 penny is physically characterized by its bronze composition, a plain edge, and a diameter of approximately 30.8 millimeters. The obverse is dominated by the left-facing bare head of King George V with the surrounding Latin inscription denoting his titles. On the reverse, Britannia is seated facing right, clutching a trident with her left hand resting on a shield, and the denomination 1 penny, with the year below. This design was the work of prominent sculptors of the era, Bertram Mackennal for the obverse and Leonard Charles Wine for the reverse, and it remained in use for many years across the George V series. While the standard London mint coins are relatively common, examples from the Heaton H or King's Norton K branch mints are scarcer due to their lower overall production figures, particularly in higher grades. These mint marks can be subtle and require careful inspection under magnification, especially on coins with significant circulation, wear, or heavy toning. Although the 1918 penny is rarest British coins in absolute terms, it occupies a unique place in collectors' hearts and cabinets. The London minted examples with no mint mark are relatively abundant, with estimated mintage above 84 million, but those from branch mints, particularly the H and KN varieties, are significantly less common and therefore more highly sought when found in better preservation. The rarity dynamic is compounded when coins have survived with minimal corrosion, legible detail, and minimal detracting damage. For serious collectors, a well-struck and well-preserved 1918 penny represents a tangible link to the early 20th century and to the historic period of the First World War. Coins with unusual features like die cracks, off-center strikes, or distinct toning can draw additional collector interest, albeit these variations must be authenticated to ensure they are genuine and not post-mint damage. Even heavily circulated, dark, or rusty examples can fill important chronological gaps in a collector's date set and are often kept for reference if not for direct market value. The value of a 1918 penny on the auction market varies strongly based on mint mark, condition, and eye appeal. Typical worn circulated coins from the London Mint without mint marks may only command nominal amounts, often a few dollars to perhaps a few dozen dollars in higher circulated grades at auction. Coins from the Heaton Mint with an H mark typically have higher values across grades, and branch mint coins can command notable premiums at auction if they are in cleaner condition. For example, a 1918 H coin graded extremely fine might be valued in excess of approximately £130 at retail level, which translates to roughly several $165,000, depending on exchange rates, and uncirculated pieces can fetch significantly more. A 1918 KN King's Norton variety in high grade may achieve prices upwards of $172,000 or more. Furthermore, numismatic auction records indicate that exceptionally graded or certified specimens can sell even higher. One strong example from this period has reached notable sums when slabbed and graded by professional services. These figures reflect collectors' strong interest in mint marks and condition, even for coins from the First World War era. If you are interested in collecting or investing in a 1918 one penny, start by learning how to accurately identify the mint mark and assess condition. Wear, corrosion, heavy toning, and rust can dramatically affect desirability and value. Coins that appear very dark and corroded should be evaluated carefully to determine whether the toning is natural and stable or whether active corrosion is present, which can detract from long-term value. Always handle old bronze coins with clean, dry hands, or use soft cotton gloves to minimize oils transferring from your skin. When possible, have coins professionally graded by a reputable service to provide objective condition certification. This often results in better auction performance. Research current auction results and price guides regularly, as values can fluctuate over time, especially for rare mint-mark varieties. Finally, build relationships with reputable dealers and fellow collectors. They can provide insights into market trends and help you avoid common pitfalls like misattributing mint marks or overpaying for marginal examples. The United Kingdom 1918 one penny is more than a piece of old metal. It is a gateway into a pivotal era of British and world history, and it holds real appeal for coin collectors worldwide. Whether you are drawn by its historical resonance, the thrill of tracking down key mint varieties, or the potential for appreciation in value at auction, understanding this coin story gives you a deeper appreciation of numismatics. Dark black and rusty. Circulated examples may not fetch the highest prices, but they still form an essential part of the narrative and can act as stepping stones toward rarer, higher-grade pieces. As with all collecting endeavors, success lies in patience, education, and careful evaluation. Next up, the United Kingdom one penny 1937 coin, specifically when encountered in very dirty and heavily circulated condition. At first glance, it may appear to be just another worn piece of old coinage, but beneath the grime and centuries of wear lies a fascinating story of British currency, collector interest, and even significant auction results when rare variants are found. We're going to walk you through everything you need to know about this 1937 penny from its place in history, its distinguishing details, the reasons collectors seek it out, its current market value in dollars, and expert guidance on how to treat and understand coins like this. The 1937 United Kingdom one penny was minted under the reign of King George VI, who came to the throne following the abdication of his brother Edward VIII. It is part of the pre-decimal currency system used in the United Kingdom prior to 1971. The coin was struck in bronze at the London Mint and featured the bare head of King George VI on the obverse, designed by Thomas Humphrey Paget, and a seated Britannia holding a trident on the reverse, designed by Leonard Charles Wyon. The production of this penny took place shortly after King George VI's coronation and represents a transitional era in British monetary history. With a weight of approximately 9.4 grams and a diameter near 31 millimeters, this penny was everyday currency, changing hands in shops, markets, and daily transactions across the UK. Its robust production reflects its use in routine commerce, though numbers varied by year and mint. Though worn examples of the 1937 penny may seem unremarkable at first, several distinct features differentiate it from other coins of its era. On the obverse is the inscription Georgiev's 6D, G, BR, OMN, Rex F laughing face, IND, IMP. Encircling the crowned bust of King George VI, a Latin legend that translates to George VI by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. The reverse shows a seated Britannia facing right, holding a trident, with one penny, and 1937 clearly shown beneath her. The robust design and significant diameter help the coin remain identifiable even when very circulated. These design details connect the coin to a pivotal period in British history, the final years of empire and the interwar era. When assessing rarity, it's important to distinguish between the standard 1937 circulation penny and special or pattern issues. The regular 1937 penny has a relatively large mintage, nearly 88.9 million pieces, making it quite common in overall coin collections. In heavily worn, dirty condition, these coins are often considered routine finds and are not inherently rare. However, collector demand does exist because this penny is one of the first coins from King George VI's reign and is part of the broader pre-decimal British coin series that many enthusiasts complete. There are also extremely rare pattern pennies from 1937 linked to Edward VIII that never entered regular circulation. These examples can fetch very high prices when authenticated. While the circulated 1937 George VI penny itself is not among the rarest of British coins, it still holds interest for collectors seeking a complete set or an example tied to royal succession history, with the pattern and proof versions being far more sought after and valuable. For a very dirty and heavily circulated 1937 UK penny, the current market value in dollars is modest. Standard circulated examples of the 1937 penny typically trade at low prices, often as little as $115,000 on general coin marketplaces. According to available data, circulated coins in low grades can be worth approximately $125,000, depending on collector interest and demand at the time. Higher graded coins, especially those authenticated and graded by leading third-party services, command higher prices. Uncirculated or proof specimens can reach tens to over $235,000 in favorable markets. Auction records for regular circulation strikes usually remain modest, whereas special pattern pennies, particularly those linked to Edward VIII's experimentations, have realized six-figure sums at auction, with one such pattern penny selling for roughly $366,000 at a major London sale. This highlights the immense gap between common circulated coins and exceptionally rare variants. For collectors who come across a 1937 penny that appears very dirty and heavily circulated, it's important to approach the coin with careful, informed handling. First, avoid aggressive cleaning. Harsh cleaning can severely detract from collector value. Instead, consult a professional numismatist to determine whether gentle conservation might improve the coin's appearance without damage. Always compare your coin to authenticated examples to verify authenticity, especially if someone suggests your coin could be a rare pattern or proof. If considering selling, obtain a grading from a reputable third-party service, as graded examples often fetch higher prices. Be aware that the common circulation version is generally priced low unless in exceptional condition, so temper expectations accordingly. Finally, keep detailed records of any coin's condition, provenance, and any professional evaluations, as this documentation can increase confidence from potential buyers or collectors. The United Kingdom 1937 one penny may appear humble and very dirty, circulated condition, but it occupies a meaningful place in numismatic history. While most circulated examples are relatively common and modest in market value, they connect collectors to the era of King George VI and pre-decimal British currency. Rare pattern and proof variants of this date command significant interest and extraordinary prices when authenticated and sold at auction. Whether you're just starting your collection or already deep into British coins, the 1937 penny serves as a reminder that every coin has a story, sometimes one that extends beyond its face value. Next up, the United Kingdom 1913 one penny. This iconic bronze coin, issued during the reign of King George V, represents not just a small unit of currency from the early 20th century, but a tangible reminder of Britain's past. In this video, we will explore the origins, features, collector appeal, and market value of this coin, particularly focusing on examples in circulated condition that have developed dark black and rusty toning over time. Whether you are a seasoned collector or simply curious about rare coins, this story blends history, scarcity, and real market demand in the world of numismatics. The 1913 one penny was struck at the London Mint under the authority of King George V, one of the defining monarchs of the early 20th century. As a pre-decimal British penny, it was part of the everyday currency used across the United Kingdom and the Empire. The design features the bare head of King George V on the obverse, with the legend, George's V de Jare, Brit, OMN, Rex FID, Def, IND, IMP, encircling his portrait. On the reverse is the seated figure of Britannia, holding a trident and shield, symbolizing Britain's maritime power and national identity. The 1913 penny belongs to the classic bronze penny series produced from 1911 to 1926 and had a substantial mintage of over 65 million pieces, reflecting its role as a common circulation coin of the period. While the 1913 penny might appear unremarkable at first glance, the true appeal lies in its physical characteristics and variations. The coin was struck in bronze, weighing 9.4 grams with a diameter of approximately 31 millimeters, and had a plain edge consistent with British bronze pennies of the era. What sets individual examples apart are the details of their wear and surface toning. Pennies that have been in circulation for more than a century often display a rich, deep patina ranging from dark brown to almost black due to oxidation and contact with varying environments over time. These toning characteristics, especially when evenly distributed on a well-worn planchet, can generate visual appeal even in coins without high-grade preservation. Collectors also study minor die varieties cataloged in references like Freeman's Guide, where certain obverse and reverse die pairings, such as the so-called Freeman 176 or Freeman 175 varieties, can be more elusive and enhance specialized collections. Despite its high original mintage, the 1913 penny has gained a degree of collector interest for several reasons. Most ordinary vintages of this date are considered relatively common, but collectors prize well-toned or unusual specimens as attractive representations of early 20th century circulation coins. In addition, certain die varieties and error strikes can elevate both rarity and desirability beyond typical examples. Coins with specific die pairings, distinctive toning, or unusual wear patterns can attract attention among enthusiasts looking to complete date runs or showcase unique coins in their albums. While the 1913 penny is not in the same league of rarity as ultra-scarce issues like the 1933 penny, of which only a handful exist and sell for extraordinary sums,